Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Timmy Taya Oshinubi, author, podcaster, and digital discernment evangelist, coming to you on behalf of Financial Juneteenth University. And today I have the distinct honor of chopping it up with Fayetteville legend, Mr. King Thesis. How you doing today, fam?
How you doing? How everybody doing out there, man? I really appreciate being able to have this platform to speak about my project.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I got a chance to check out the documentary, thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's start at the beginning. When did you know, look, before that, in the documentary, you said that you more or less got kicked out the Air Force. So like, what's the scoop with that? What was your experience like in the Air Force, and how did that lead you to your path of entrepreneurship?
All right, so when I was about 16, I was living with my mother, a single parent. I had like a new stepfather at the time, and I grew up with a lot of domestic violence in the household. I ended up losing my mother to gun violence. My stepfather murdered her,
Sorry to hear
and
that.
it's cool. I'm dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? But I lost my mother, and when I graduated high school, she wanted me to go into the military. And that's what I did. I just did what I felt that she wanted me to do. Two things she wanted me to do was join the military, and so I can go to college. And she also wanted me to just never stop doing art, never stop drawing, never stop designing, never stop creating.
Absolutely. And big ups to you for honoring her wishes. I'm so sorry for that tragic loss. So once you got out of the military, what made you decide to pursue art full time as an artpreneur as opposed to hopping on the plantation and getting a job?
Basically, working for somebody else never felt good. It never was fulfilling or rewarding. Um, I noticed that people who come from other countries, they don't come here and fill out applications. They come here and they start businesses.
Right.
I peeped that out at an early age. I wanted to leave uh, something for my kids. I noticed that a lot of fathers, when a kid graduates high school, they have the option to go off on their own or come into the family business. I noticed that's something that my family never had, and I want to establish that as well as inspire and help other people in my family or my other associates be able to start their own businesses and brands.
That's strong. That's real strong. So you have quite the inspiring story. What made you decide to tell your story in the form of a documentary as opposed to a book or a short film? And what was the process like producing this project?
The process making a project, it took about 2 years. Um, I spent my own money on it. What I did was I just spent a little bit at a time. 1 month I might have a budget of spending like maybe on $100 to $200. So that's how much I would shoot. Like I said, it took me 2 years. I used two filmmakers. And the reason why I did it is because I was just thinking like nobody else is gonna tell my story. Like who
Right.
else is gonna tell your story except you? Like remember when the actor Flex did the Michael Jackson movie?
Yeah.
Remember how whack that was? Like 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 I was, no disrespect to Michael Jackson, but I'm just saying like he had the opportunity to be able to tell his story while he was still here. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you leave it up to weird individuals to tell your story. Not saying I was ever going to be on that level, but just to be able to tell your story. Like I had family members who passed away, and there was photo albums that came up missing or were destroyed during a move or something like that. And that's history that you'll never get back. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you have to document. I say consider document what you're doing. Also people how Dame Dash would document everything he would do. Puff Daddy would document everything he would do, and I knew like they're gonna do a movie or they're gonna do a documentary one day, and it's gonna be powerful. Um, I always had this love for documentaries. I love documentaries. I love like Vice News and the Vice Channel. I like their perspective, and I like how a lot of times their reporting is non-biased. There was two documentaries that inspired my documentary. There was one by artist and business owner named Maya Bailey. He owns a tattoo shop out in Atlanta. He did a documentary called "Color Outside the Lines," which documented um, the origin of black tattooing in Atlanta or in the South. That was very powerful. And then there's another artist named Delano Brown who released a visual called Entrepreneur, like the word art in the beginning of entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And I thought it was dope how he became a millionaire off painting clothes. And
Right.
it spoke to me because of what I was doing. It was like, shit, if they can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely. Now I see you rocking your own clothes. If you can step back so people can see the shirt. Hold the shirt up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
That
yeah.
Zombie Life logo, New World. New World Inc. I love it. I love it. I love when people do their own thing. So in
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
film,
We got very branded around here. Like,
oh yes. Oh yes. Show it all. Yes. I love it. I love it. So in the film, you said that you came up with that in the ninth grade. Like that's crazy to
yeah.
have something that you created so long ago and kept with it consistently. Tell me a little bit about what that means to you, what it stands for, the headspace that you were in when you made that at such a young age.
Okay. So like I said, I was going through a period of time where I was experiencing not a very balanced or family foundation, or like I said, I saw like a lot of domestic violence, from my from my father when I was really young, and from my stepfather as well. So the logo kind of came out of that. You know what I mean? If you look at the logo, it's two faces looking at each other to make one face. So it's kind of like that internal battle, man versus man. So it's like no matter what you go through, it's about how you react to it. You know what I mean? So me, I'm the type of person who's like I like to meet stuff head on. Like if it's a problem or obstacle, like I'm gonna run to it instead of away from it. So
Right.
that's what the face kind of symbolizes. And the look at the face is like determination. You know what I mean? That face is a look of determination.
I love
Um,
it. Go
now,
ahead.
now the logo itself, like when I was in the ninth grade, there was a kid in my class who would sign all his artwork nobody, and I was like, I thought that was kind of ill because he was making a handle for himself, which I also connected to how I looked up to New York, like Harlem and the Queens and the Brooklyn, the Bronx. Like I always loved their style and their energy. And I remember like every time you watch a movie or I'll meet somebody from New York, they would have a nickname or alias or a street name. So I was like, I want one. I want one, and I want a design that would stand for me or what I believe in. And then also, like, I'm in the ninth grade, eighth grade, whatever, and I was really into cartoons, comic books, video games. So I saw the competition between Nintendo and Sega, and how Sega had Sonic and Nintendo had Super Mario. And when you saw them, you automatically thought of Nintendo. So being I was being sensitive to the idea of branding at that time and didn't really know what the word meant, but I understood what was going on because their logos is symbology. Also, at that time, like kids always are, but we was really into like clothes, fashion, different brands, Nike, Jordan, Adidas, Fila. So all these things were logos, so I knew that they were competing with each other. So I just knew I had to have something, and I knew at that time I wanted to be in business. I just didn't know what. So I figured like, why not, start something now? And that's where the logo came from, man. I was, sketching in my books and on the desk in the ninth grade during science class.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And for you to be so business minded and have that intuitive feel at such a young age, that cannot be overstated, because there's a lot of grown folks who never get to that headspace, and you was already years ahead of the game. So, brother, you are a renaissance man, if ever there was one. I know you call yourself an alchemist. You've done, designer sneakers, clay chains, body paint, tattooing. Like, tell me about that creative journey, what the creative overlap is, what the process is from one thing to another. Because I can just tell that you have no plans of stopping ever. So I know sky's the limit. So like, what is it like to get into that zone?
Um, it's painless. It's painless. Like when you're working on your own projects or doing whatever you need to do to move forward, like constantly being busy, it's painless. You know what I mean? And then it becomes fun, and then you become addicted to it. When I was like starting every little thing that I started, I was just mad. I was mad hungry. Like I was figuring like I'm gonna do whatever I possibly can do creatively to try to get myself to the next level. So I was always experimenting with something new while I'm currently working on something else. So that's pretty much what it is, man. And just always being inspired. I'm always looking for something to be inspired by. So like throughout time, there was, I would find something, and then that something that I found, I would run out of steam, and then I find something else, and then build up some more steam. It might be a product, it might be an individual, it might be a movie, it might be a song. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it is. Like, and here lately, like in my 30s, a lot of it's been coming from history. So I feel like I'm building my own pyramid in a way.
I love it. Building your own pyramid. You gotta have your own history. So is there a particular genre that you like better? I know as a parent, as a creator, you're not really supposed to pick favorites, right? But
Mhm.
what's your favorite? Do you like tattooing more? Did you like the sneakers more? Do you enjoy canvassing? And what is it about that particular form of expression that draws you to it?
I really enjoy tattooing because every day's different. There's different people that come through the door. Certain clients become like family or close associates. A lot of times you can build up your network just because the people coming in and out of the door. Like I do like a lot of bartering. I got a plumber, electrician that I barter out with. Also too, like I hear these different stories, and I learn from all these different people that I come across. Also, like it's cool because I affect them like their whole life. Like they're gonna remember that experience their whole life. So that's why it's cool. I always want to affect the world in some kind of positive way, and I think this is a perfect avenue. Also, it helps me pay my bills, and it funds my other projects and dreams. Um, I really like painting because I don't know, man. It's like it's something about that paint. Like when you get done with it, it just feels a certain way. Especially when I'm using it like to decorate my house, or I use it as a birthday gift or something like that. That's really dope. I also really like designing clothes or any type of other products. I like a challenge, and that's why I'm doing so many different things because at one point they were all challenges.
Absolutely. So you said that now that you're a man in your 30s, you've reached a point where you're looking toward history more. So this is a two-part question.
Mhm.
What, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, so let's go back and say you're 25, 23, whatever. What advice would you give to yourself as a 30-year-old man that you wish you would have had when you was 19, 20 years old? And then the second part is what part of historical history do you like to pull from the most? Is it, Kemet, or like most people call it Egypt? Is it, like what's your favorite historical period?
My favorite historical period would be, I would definitely have to say Kemet, Kush, Timbuktu, you know, Mesopotamia. Yeah, and I'm starting to learn about like early American history. That's really dope to me because it definitely shows you that we was all over the world. It wasn't just Egypt. Egypt's dope because um, it's like evidence that's been well preserved. You know what I mean? And it says a lot. And I think that's why a lot of us gravitate towards Kemet because it showed like the height of a golden era, or I don't know. I don't know. It's just I think that's why we gravitate towards it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What was the first question?
So if you could go back and talk to your younger self as a
Right.
30-year-old man, as a 33, 34-year-old man, if you go back and talk to your younger self when you was, 19, 20 years old, what
Mm.
was some advice that you would give to yourself about the journey that's to come?
I kind of wouldn't do that because I feel like it would make me make different decisions, and it probably would affect history today. I mean, affect the current situation now. You know,
I like that answer. You're
I
actually
wouldn't.
the first person to ever answer that way. That's deep. That's profound. So no regrets. I love it.
Yeah, because I would try to save my mother or something like that. Maybe that was supposed to happen. Like if my mom didn't pass, I wouldn't be here. My kids wouldn't be here. It would just change the course of my existence. Like, I don't want to do that.
I feel you. I feel you. Nothing wrong with appreciating the journey that you're on. I dig it.
Hmm.
So something that jumped out to me as I watched your project is that you got a lot of love in Fayetteville, like a
Hmm.
lot of love. You've built a strong movement, and it
Hmm.
shows. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to get involved in their community or start a movement, or for lack of a better term, sort of follow in your footsteps? What wisdom would you pass on to them?
First, that you are a brand. You know, whether you want to accept it or not, you are a brand, and your brand has to stand for something or does stand for something, um, and it should represent a lifestyle. It should you'll end up with a reputation whether you like it or not, and that your brand should produce a product or service, a quality product or service. I would say, yeah.
That about it?
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Well, I dig it, man. So, what's next for King Thesis? I mean, you're only in your 30s and you've done so much. What do you got in your crosshairs? What's next on the horizon for this movement?
Well, definitely fitness is my main thing. You know, focusing on my health so I could be able to do other things. I ended up with a back injury not too long ago, and I went like a whole year where I could like barely walk and barely tattoo. So I definitely really, and that was the same year I opened up my shop. So I opened up my shop. I'm painting the walls, you know, with a two bulging discs and arthritis in my lower spine. You know what I'm saying? So it made me think like, man, you come to a new level of success, but if you ain't got your health, like, there's nothing you could do with it. Like, if you can't walk or you can't move your fingers, how you gonna drive a Lamborghini or something like that? Like, you're just gonna sit and look at it.
True story.
Um, and then second, I haven't written a book, and I'm thinking about coming out with an audio book. I just want to reach a few more accomplishments until I'll be able to write that book.
Man, I have a book, and I would tell you, you got plenty of accomplishments already because I ain't got half of what you got. I ain't got a third of what you got, and I got
Oh,
a book.
word.
So if I had to give you an advice, I'd be like, if you want to do it, do it. Don't wait, because believe me, you are primo. So, last question, I'll let you get back to your day. You mentioned bartering as well as sometimes you struggle during the documentary. How have you financially been able to keep things afloat? Is it mostly barter agreements? Did you get some business financing? And same question for anyone who wanted to, start their art career. What's some tips or advice that you would give them to kind of keep things going as they're moving up?
Now, as far as art advice, I would say build collections. If you paint, don't just paint random paintings. Like, work on collections, like a theme with these collections. And it could be drawn with tattoos. It could be designing clothes. You know, build a catalog. Um, what was the other part of the question? I smoke a lot of herbs. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. How have you been able to keep things going as you're starting
Okay.
out? Because I know a lot
All
of
right.
us, as you alluded to, we don't have bar mitzvahs, right? We
Right.
don't start with a lot of dough or a lot of cash. So from the financial standpoint, how have you been able to keep things going until it reached a point where you could support yourself?
Honestly, somebody saw my grind and gave me a loan to start my business. That's how I got my loan. I worked for this person for about 4 to 5 years in their tattoo shop, and I stayed loyal, I stayed honest, and I did everything that I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And out of nowhere, he was like, "Hey, what do you think about having your own shop? I think there should be a black-owned tattoo shop in your city that's quality with a good reputation." As far as like how I handle my money and learn about money, I look for different mentors. Dr. Boyce Watkins is definitely a mentor. Grant Cardone is another mentor of mine. Um, my lady is my CFO. So without her, none of this would be possible because she's like the backbone. She's the one that keeps things in order. You know, um, and I'm the one that puts in the work and sets the goals and stuff like that. So it's pretty much like a team effort. Me and my lady, like, I don't, what I'm saying, I don't see how some people out there and they're making these moves by themselves or claiming that they're making these moves by themselves, but nah, it's always somebody there.
Wise man, wise man. Let the lady handle the money. That's right. Happy wife, happy life. So, man, this has been tremendous. Please take a moment, give us all your social media handles, anything you got going on in Fayetteville, what's next for you. Where can
Okay.
we get some more you?
Okay, so my Instagram is King Thesis, just like a thesis statement. It's all one word, KingThesis. My shop Instagram is New World Inc. Fayetteville, all one word. Let's see, my YouTube channel is Thesis Originals with an S at the end. That's all one word. Please make sure to go onto YouTube and check out my documentary, Thou Art Zombie Life, a King Thesis story. And shit, I think that's about it. I should be relaunching my website within the next month or so.
And there you have it, folks. King Thesis. If you haven't, if you can't tell already, this man is what we like to call the genuine article. So, peace, brother. Thank you so much for coming out. It was really, really good being able to top it up with you. And go to
Yeah.
YouTube, Thesis Original. Get that documentary. Watch it. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.